Being right doesn't account for jack. So you want to create a grassroots movement, go to Washington and try to help out with the environmental issues. You know what you're up against? You go to a senator or congressperson with a petition, you know what's going to happen? You're going to walk into their office and they're going to genuinely look like they care about what you're doing. And then when you leave, they're going to completely ignore you. But let me tell you what it's like to actually go in and meet a senator or congressperson. You will very quickly realize that they have no idea what they're talking about. That they're basically a really, really good actor who's been given some lines. Then you go to meet their aide, and that's where the real action is. If you're a nobody, you'll be even lucky to meet their aides. Well, their aides are a lot smarter. And what do their aides know? They don't know a hell of a lot about the issues either. Take an environmental bill. Do you really think that an aide knows all the complications of an environmental bill and all the nuances and all the science? No fucking way. I'll tell you something that they do know. And they know it without even looking at a piece of paper. They know exactly who has given them how much money and what their position is. Why should they waste their time learning all their issues when it won't make a goddamn bit of difference? Because the bottom line is, if you know who's giving you how much money and what their position is in the world of Washington, that's the way you get power. That's the way you get influence. If you focus on the issues, you'll be thrown out so fast, you'll be toast. You'll be cold toast. But here's the good news. It's actually totally out in the open. It's really ironic when you go and you hang out in Washington, how they literally talk about how you need more lobbyists and more money. We actually call it hooker ethics. When you do business with a hooker, it's very clean, at least from a business point of view. It's like a math equation. These people have $1 million and you have $500,000. You're $500,000 short.
How would you like to see Washington run if you're part of the government?
You can't change nature. You can't change the laws of physics. One of the most important organizations in any society is NGOs, non-government organizations. I don't think people realize the extent to which our society has evolved in an environment where NGOs have made a huge difference. One of the strategies that we create to distract the population is to get them caught up in the drama of who's going to become president. And then they seem to forget about everything else. If you had actually given a lot of money to organizations like the Environmental Defense Funds and various other well-organized professional organizations, let them put pressure on Washington. Who you vote for with your dollars and your attention matters more than anything else. And that's what I would love to see. But somehow people just can't get it together. They're caught up in the drama. And by the way, that's by design. I'm sure you're well aware that the educational system is designed to socialize you, not necessarily educate you. And the media, what is the media designed to do? It's designed to entertain you, to validate your feelings, to polarize you. Why? To make money. And the thing is, you already know that. Why are you listening to it? Why are you going onto Facebook and repeating gossip that does not deserve to be repeated? You are part of the virus. You are part of the problem. And politicians, as we already talked about, all that matters is your ability to garner votes with your popularity and to ensure that you deliver the goods to your sponsors. And I'm sure you're well aware that social media is making this worse. Social media, the big advance, the internet, the promise to create a more democratized world. And what's it turning into? Artificial intelligence. Yes, AI. Artificial intelligence is making sure that you only see in the bubble. You only hear validation from people who think just like you. And pretty soon everybody thinks that they're right and everybody else is wrong. And why does that work? Because it's driven by advertising. That's how you sell advertising. Remember, we orchestrators, our puppeteers, are controlling not only our corporations and the lobbyists, we're also controlling people's viewing habits. We've got our fingers on the button. In the old days, it was 4 networks with hundreds and hundreds of people involved. And now you've got tech companies, a handful of tech companies, and a handful of people in those tech companies with their artificial intelligence algorithms, creating media bubbles around all the people and controlling all these young people with just a touch of the button, like a marionette. And that has the great makings of a sci-fi movie, but it's happening right now. people on Facebook are just posting like crazy. Oh my God, I'm an environmental activist. I post on Facebook. But won't give one fucking dime, won't go to one fucking rally, and won't even support their own friends. Because they feel posting those videos is all they need to do. And let me tell you something. The oil lobby and the people in power are banking on the fact that you're just going to post on Facebook and not get a goddamn thing done. How many people actually show up to a meeting? How many people actually organize a meeting? How many people actually come up with a plan? And what percentage of those people come up with a good plan? And what percentage of those people will actually drive the plan to completion? And another little trick that people like me in business do, if you want to destroy a grassroots movement, very simple strategy. It's been done for hundreds of years. Is we give a little money to each one of these groups. And they just fight each other, and they never get organized, and they self-destruct. And we just simply appeal to the egos of those in charge. And that is something that is pretty much guaranteed to happen every time. So considering the way things are in Washington, it's no surprise that everything is so screwed up. Our educational system, our trade policy, the job situation, and of course the environment, global warming, climate change, whatever buzzwords you want to use. The same problems that are affecting Wall Street, our jobs, and our whole environment are the same exact problems that are affecting our ability to deal with climate change. Most Americans will not pay more for green energy. Coal is really, really cheap. I mean, really cheap. And oil and natural gas are pretty cheap too, and they're getting even cheaper. You got to remember, most Americans are not activists. They'll post on Facebook, they'll tell people at cocktail parties, oh, I care about the environment. They might even buy a hybrid, so by the way, they can use the carpool lane and wave a green flag. But the bottom line is, Americans are concerned about paying for college, buying toys for the children, and looking sexy. And the last thing on their mind when it comes to actually doing their budget is green energy. Remember, this is America. Be realistic. So you are ready to play the big game and really accomplish something? I mean, do what an intelligent creature does. An intelligent creature not only does things very smartly, but they clearly look at the results and they make adjustments and they do not delude themselves. You really want to get something done? It's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of disappointment and a lot of fucked up people you're going to have to deal with. And I recommend that you make sure that you have a coping mechanism. Before you start on your next journey, remember, this is not going to be an easy ride. This is not just posting on Facebook. This is you're going to be determined to make sure that you do not fail. This is like a startup company, except you're not getting paid for it, ever. Competent people, competent managers have to get paid.